Hi guys, I'm Tanisha here with Harry Kaiser to talk about his induction into the Hall of Champions. Hi Harry, how's it going?
Thanks for having me in.
No problem, thanks for being here. So how does it feel to be honored with this award?
Well, it's a great honor. I couldn't be more proud. Just being involved in Norristown athletics my whole life, from the age of 7 throughout high school and still involved to this day to some aspect. It's just an honor to be part of the Hall of Champions and have the opportunity to get inducted, and for Norristown to feel that highly of me and my achievements in high school. It's just an honor. I remember being a kid looking up at the Hall of Champions plaque in the gymnasium, and I'd stand there and look at all the names, and I wonder if I'll be good enough one day to get on there. And it makes me very proud to know that I was good enough.
Kind of like
great.
a little childhood dream, right?
Well,
Just
some
finally
kind
up
of
here.
dream. I don't know. It's awesome though.
Yeah, and speaking of Norristown, how do you remember your high school experience here?
I love my high school experience in Norristown. I had awesome teachers, great teachers. I had great friends. I had the best coaches in the country on my wrestling team who influenced me and helped me, taught me the importance of hard work, sacrifice, dedication. And if I could go back in time to 2000, 2001 and start my freshman year all over again, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I loved my 4 years at Norristown.
Well, that's great. That's something not everyone can say, but the fact that you can, it's awesome. It's great. And so you graduated in 2004?
2004.
All right. So that means your 10-year reunion.
10-year reunion's
right?
coming up.
Mm-hmm. Right. How do you feel about that? Are you excited?
Well, it's kind of I'm starting to get old now because now it's double digits years since I've been in high school. Mm-hmm. But I remain in close contact to a lot of my friends to this day. So the fact that the reunion is coming up, I still see a lot of people. So we're excited. Celebrating a 10-year anniversary of graduating.
Right, that's good. And you said earlier that you've been friends with some of these people since you were very little, right?
Oh yeah, well,
still very close.
A lot of my teammates on the wrestling team at Norristown, we started wrestling together, when we were 7 years old. So by the time we were seniors in high school, we've already been good friends for 10, 11 years. We had that special bond, and I think which is what helped make us a good wrestling team. And 10 years later, we still remain good friends. We still see each other, every week, every month, and it's like we never left.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's a very rare thing to see. And what have you done since high school?
After high school, I went to Ursanus College. I got a degree in politics from there with a minor in international relations. I competed on the wrestling team there for 4 years. I was 3 years all-conference. And after I finished at Ursanus, I started working at Glen Mills, which is a school for court-adjudicated youth, about your age, high school age, and kids who've had some trouble in the past, trying to change their life. And I started working there in 2008. I remain there to this day.
Well, that's great. And what got you interested in that field and helping the students?
Well, I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. I always knew I wanted to work with kids. And, I remember being in 3rd grade, Marshall Street Elementary School, and Mr. Kennedy, he's still a teacher here today.
Yes.
He was my health and phys ed teacher. And I remember being 8 years old, we'd always have fun in gym class. Everybody always looks forward to gym class when they're a kid. Mm-hmm. I just remember thinking he had the coolest job in the world. Like, he has fun for a living. Mm-hmm. And, from around that time, about 7, 8 years old, I knew I wanted to work with kids. I wanted to be a teacher. And that continued throughout high school. In college, I ended up pursuing a degree in politics. I was interested in politics at the time, which, every 18-year-old is very strongly opinionated and is interested in politics, so of course. And, I didn't have a teaching certification coming out of college or anything, but I knew I wanted to work with kids, and Glen Mills was an opportunity for me, and I'm glad it worked out like that.
Great. And how does it feel going into work every day, being that you said you were a senior counselor?
Senior counselor, right.
Right.
I don't. it's terrible to dread going to work, and I don't dread
Yeah.
going to work. I enjoy going to work.
That's
You
great.
know, I'll go in and talk to kids about their life. How can they change their life? How can they succeed academically? How can they succeed vocationally, socially? How can they build their social skills? How can they improve their athletic skills and you know, maybe have some opportunities like I had? You know, it's just giving back, and I enjoy it.
Great. Would you say your teachers helped you see that you wanted to help students?
Well, I've always had a good experience in school. I always had good teachers. I was in good classes, good classmates. So I never had a bad experience in school. So I think it's important for every student, you know, starting from kindergarten all the way through college, to have that experience. And anything I could do to help that out, I enjoy.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And what was your most memorable moment in high school?
Most memorable moment in high school, 2003, regional wrestling tournament. If you place in the top 4 at the time, if you place in the top 4 at the regional tournament, you qualify for the state tournament. In Pennsylvania, qualifying for the state tournament is a very big deal because the competition in the state is very tough. Regional tournaments here at Norristown High School, and I had to win this one match in order to qualify, and I won it. I just remember all my friends there. They're going crazy. My parents are there. My dad in his Norristown wrestling hoodie wore all the time. He's going nuts, and I'm just so excited. And that's my most memorable moment,
Yeah,
and I'm glad it happened in Norristown High School too.
Great. That's great. That sounds like it was an awesome day for you and
was.
all your family and friends. And with wrestling, how did you continue on with that through your school?
Well, after high school, I wrestled at Ursinus College, Division III. I was a 4-year team member, 3-year starter. I was 3-year varsity starter. My sophomore year, I placed 4th in the conference. My junior and senior year, I placed 2nd in the conference. And after I graduated from college, I was done competing, and I got into coaching. Started coaching at Glen Mills and helping out in other places too, different clubs and organizations. But I've remained involved.
Well, that's great. It's great that you're still involved in something that you did in high school and that you can even apply that into what you do now.
Yeah, well, it's part of my life.
Yeah, well, that's
Forever.
great. So what does this award mean to you?
It's just, I'm very honored, you know, to be in the Norristown Hall of Champions. I'm in Norristown athletic history. I'm forever implanted there.
Right.
And I think, you know, I wouldn't be doing a service to the Hall of Champions if I didn't recognize that. Like, it's a very big deal, you know, for me to be mentioned with names of the guys that I looked up to growing up, like guys on the wrestling team I used to go watch when I was a kid who are in the Hall of Champions. Now I'm getting to join them. You know, it's an honor. It's an honor. I'm glad to be part of the Norristown athletic history.
That's great. It's definitely an honor to be proud of. Who would you say helped you along the way? Like, who is your support team?
Many people. My parents, first of all, Harry and Ronnie Kaiser. They, from day one, they taught me work hard, be dedicated, be willing to sacrifice, and good things will happen to you. And if things don't go your way, you don't complain. You find a way to fix the problem. And, you know, they're relentless with that, and it was great. They wouldn't let me accept failure. My head wrestling coach in high school, Steve Horner, put the same values in me. You know, just it's like having a second father there telling me the same exact thing. The assistant coaches in Norristown, Steve Snyder. You know, he's in the high school all year round, opening up the weight room in the summertime when he didn't have to, helping us get stronger and train. Our other coach, Mr. Wolf, just kept things light, funny, great sense of humor. Just a great guy, successful man. You know, good role model to look up to. And all my teammates, we're all very close. You know, everything we accomplished, we did it together. We wrestled all year round together. We traveled across the country together, and it was just a great experience. So everybody who was involved contributed to some extent.
Right, that's great. You definitely seem to have had a very strong support system and team, just like not only family, not only friends, but everyone just around you just kept pushing you, right?
Absolutely.
That's
we all
great.
work together.
That's great. Not everyone has that opportunity, but it's good that you had it. being that you work at Glen Mills, right?
Glen Mills.
Right. And how else are you still connected to, say, Norristown?
Well, I still live in the school district. I live in East Norton Township, and I love the area. I grew up here. I was grew up in Norris Hills, up on the north end of town, and then I moved when I was about 6 or 7 to West Norton, the west end of Norristown, that area around Stewart Middle School, and went to college in the area. And moved back here when I got married to my wife Carla. We bought a house in East Norton. We love the area.
That's great.
So.
You're still connected here. Does your wife play any role into how you succeeded this throughout your life?
Well, my wife and I, we both went to Norristown, same class. We both went to Ursinus College, same class, but we never started dating until after college. We were always friends, but we never started dating till after college. Mm-hmm. But she was just part, in classes with me, and part of the good experience I had in school. So
that's great. It's kind of like in a way a high school sweetheart without actually.
Yeah, it's funny the way it worked out, but it's important to be friends with somebody before you get into a relationship with them.
Yeah, definitely. That's always a good thing. So, what are your plans for the future?
I'm going to continue working with kids, continue coaching, and whatever happens from there happens there. Remain, stay living with my wife, raise a family someday, and just enjoy life.
That's great. How long have you been the senior counselor for Glen Mills?
I just got moved in that position about 3 months ago.
Oh.
And I worked as a counselor teacher for about 6 years before that.
That's good. Has it changed at all?
A little bit. Everything changes over time,
Right.
but I mean the primary goal still remains the same: to help the kids succeed and change their lives. Mm-hmm. And if the way you do it's got to change, then it has to change. But there's still a job to be done, and you got to do it any way you can.
Right. And how do you help them? Like you said, you would talk to their parents, talk to them.
Well, yeah, you maintain phone contact with their parents, and just talk to the parents about their behavior and what they're doing, and how they're progressing academically, how they're progressing in their vocational shop. Any behavioral problems they'll have, goal setting, how are they doing with meeting their goals and objectives. You do that. You develop relationships with the kids. You may find common ground, something you're both interested in. Mm-hmm. And one thing I always do, I try to instill the same values that I was taught when I was a kid: hard work, dedication, willing to sacrifice, and fighting through the hard times in order to succeed. If there's a problem at hand, you can't sit around and mope around about it. You got to find a way to fix the problem. It's just being dedicated and hardworking. So any way I can instill that in my students now, I do so.
Right. So you still use the same
I try to teach them the same values I was taught, and I felt like made a difference in my life. It made me a stronger person.
Mm-hmm. And how do you see them growing? Like, is there big changes in them?
I have them for anywhere from 3 months to maybe 2 years, and the day they come in is most of the time a completely different person from the kid that leaves. Mm-hmm. 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later. So to see the change and to see them become more mature and more focused and more dedicated, that's great. A lot of kids come in, they change and they learn some skills. Some, you have trouble reaching, but it doesn't mean you give up. You continue to try to help.
Always push forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like you probably have a fairly big impact on how they come out, right?
Well, I try to, I try to.
Oh yeah, you definitely are helping them, talking to them.
Yeah, some will admit it, some won't. You know how kids are.
Yeah, well, still one.
Yeah.
What would you tell your students? Do you tell them what are the important things that you tell them with school and how they have to go on with life and extracurricular activities and how that helps too?
Well, obviously, finishing high school is important. You know, there's studies and research everywhere that shows that being a high school graduate sets you up for success more than not being a high school graduate. And there's studies that show that being a college graduate sets you up for success more than being a high school graduate. Not saying you can't succeed as a high school graduate. There's many other options that you can take, but you know, continuing your education is never going to hurt you. It's going to make you a more intelligent person, make you just a more well-rounded person. So, you know, always pursue education, always take it seriously, and take advantage of your opportunities whenever you can.
All right. Along with education, you had gotten a BA in politics?
Yeah, BA in politics from Ursinus.
Right, and then you went back for...
I went back to school 3 years after I graduated because I wanted to, you know, look into being a teacher. So I earned my teacher certification from Cabrini College in 2012, and I'm currently in progress of earning my master's degree in education.
Oh, that's great. You're definitely still continuing on with that. And is your wife proud of that? Is your wife proud of like what you do and everything?
Yeah, you could say she's proud. You know, she's known me since I was 14 years old. So you know, back then, if you would have told her or told anybody that I'd be three classes shy of a master's degree, I think they might be shocked. Not that I was a bad student, but it's something good.
Right, it's definitely great. Sorry, I had to catch my breath. So what kind of advice do you give to the students?
Take advantage of every opportunity you have. Use your resources. You have teachers that are here to help you out. You have coaches, if you're on a sport, that are here to help you out. You have counselors, administrators. They're all here to help you. Parents, family, the whole community is here to help you. Use your resources. And never take anything for granted. Don't let these 4 years in Norristown go by and then you look back and have regrets. Make the most of everything. There's a lot of things you can get involved with here. There's a lot of clubs and organizations you can be a part of, and they'll have a lasting effect on your life. So don't miss out on those opportunities.
Yeah, that's great. That's pretty good advice. Along with the school, how do you think it's changed, or has there, of what you've seen, is there anything that's changed?
10 years after I've graduated, there's certain things that have changed. I know the complex in between the gymnasium and the school part was fixed up a little bit. It looks real nice.
Yeah, our new wing.
Different things like visually have changed, but I've mentioned a few times. A lot of people say Norristown's changing, and maybe it has, but there still remains the constant that's been here over time that I've noticed is there's a group of teachers and coaches, and there's a group of adults in the community that care about kids in the community and want to help them succeed. And there's still a group of kids in the community that are hardworking and want to succeed, and that remains the same. So to me, I'm not really focusing on what's changing; it's what's remaining the same, and people are working hard, people are committed, and people are trying to make a difference, trying to make the community better, and that remains the same. So that's what matters to me.
That's great. And is there anything you'd like to add of like how this whole experience of being inducted into the Hall of Champions has made you feel, has affected you, and how high school has affected you?
Well, it's like I said, it's a great honor. I'm very proud. I'm very proud that I'm able to be written in the Norristown athletic history. Get my name on the plaque that I used to look at when I was a kid. I'm just also happy that I can make my parents proud, that they can see me, getting inducted tonight, and something that they played a major part in too. I'm just proud they can enjoy that.
Right, definitely let them see that you got that award and how you've made this great achievement, right? And they were part of it.
They're a big part of it. Big part of it.
Right, well, that's great. Thanks so much for being with us, Harry.
Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, no problem. All right, guys, that was Harry Kaiser for Hall of Champions.